All right, in this video we're going to talk about tightening methods. Now, due to the inconsistencies and the variables that are involved, calibrated wrenches or torque wrenches are not something that we use to tighten bolts. When it is possible, we're going to use tension-controlled bolts with the spline there at the end. And when you use a tension-controlled bolt gun, which is called sometimes it's called a tone wrench or a TC gun or a Lejeune gun, you'll hear it termed in various ways. You put the Lejeune bolt or you put the Lejeune gun on, make sure that the inside completely envelops the spline there at the end, and then push it on as far as possible. Then pull the big trigger. There's two triggers on it, large trigger, small trigger. Pull the big trigger. When you pull the big trigger, you're going to hear it wind up, and when it winds up, it will eventually start to wind down, and then you'll hear a little snap. And that is what happens when the little spline, or you'll hear them called nipples sometimes, or tits, get sheared off. That shows the inspector that that bolt has been tightened to the prescribed tension. So it's a tension-controlled bolt. So we're going to be tightening in such a way as to work any looseness out of the connection. So you want to tighten it so that it pulls it all together so your plies are in firm contact. So something to bear in mind. Now, when constructability does not allow for us to use a tone wrench or a Lejeune gun, then where we're going to have to make an adjustment is we're going to have to use a different kind of method. Now, the method that I'm going to teach you is called the turn of the nut. You will hear it referred to as hand tighten, and I understand that, but the proper name for the procedure that you're following is called the turn of the nut method. You want to remember that, especially for when you take your test at the end. The title of this procedure, the turn of the nut method. So we're going to go through that here in just a moment, and you'll be able to then know how to properly use the turn of the nut method.